So you are thinking about moving to the greater Phoenix area and you're kind of tossed up. You love Scottsdale because you've heard a lot about it, but you've also heard a lot about Chandler. What's the difference between Scottsdale and Chandler? They're directly north and south of each other. They're both on the east side of the greater Phoenix area. They both have a ton of pluses. But which one works best for you, your future, your family, your job, travel, whatever it might be? We're going to get down to the nitty gritty in this video. We're going to show you the differences, the similarities, and you can figure out what city works best for you right now. Don't go anywhere. We're going to get after it right now. Hello, my name is Sheryl Willis at the Real Agent Now group. And if this is the first time to our channel, you're going to want to click that little subscribe button and tap that little bell so that you are notified each and every time we release a new video. We are getting dozens of calls every single day, and we love it. Look, if you guys are looking at possibly moving to the greater Phoenix area and you're really trying to figure out what it's like, Scottsdale versus Chandler, they're both on the east side of the greater Phoenix area. What's the difference? What is it like to live, work, eat, play, sleep? Overall, what is the lifestyle like and housing between Scottsdale and Chandler? Well, in this video, we're going to cover it, and you're going to want to make sure that you pick up that phone before the end of the video or make comments below, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, days, nights, weekends. Make sure you reach out right now and get the deets on what it's like to live, move to the greater Phoenix area and how Scottsdale is different than Chandler. Right now, pick up that phone, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email. We are here when you are ready to move to the greater Phoenix area. All right, let's get right to it. So you are considering Scottsdale or Chandler. What's the difference and what works best for you? First of all, both cities are on the east side of the greater Phoenix area. Scottsdale predominantly is known for higher property values and nightlife. Miami, shopping, just like Rodeo Drive. We're talking about the elite. We're talking about the club parties. We're talking about the pool parties. We're talking about resorts. We're talking about spas. But is that really how you live your life on an everyday basis? Probably not. You know, most of the time when we have people moving into the greater Phoenix area, we have them come on in and stay in Airbnbs that are in the city that they are going to actually possibly purchase in. But it's funny how everybody just gravitates when they're going to vacation in the greater Phoenix area. Where do you pick? Scottsdale. Not many people live their life 24/7, 365 a year in that nightlife, Miami kind of boom, boom environment, right? What's Scottsdale really like to live in? Well, let's start comparing the differences. Let's first tear down, well, maybe not tear down. Let's explore a little bit further in each city, starting with Scottsdale. First of all, Scottsdale has been around forever, early 1900s, and it was really fathered in the Old Town area. This is the Scottsdale that everyone vacations near. And when I first moved here 26 years ago, there wasn't much further north. There was some housing, but for the most part, all the action and activity was in the Old Town area. Now, in Old Town, it still is extremely touristy. This is where all the clubs are. And we are talking the late night, like hippie, no, not hippie. Hip, whatever. Obviously, I'm too old for this kind of nightlife. In fact, I went into one and I was like, I can't think. I'm officially my mother. All right. So if you're looking for nice restaurants, though, if you're looking for fantastic over-the-top shopping, if you're like Mont Blanc, Louis Vuitton, if you want a Tiffany store, this is your area. Most of the homes in the Old Town area are going to be one of two things. They're going to be either the condominiums, you're going to be going vertical, you're going to be paying astronomical HOAs in this area because you're paying to live there. So it's kind of smoke and mirrors. Like when you find a condo, you're like, wow, only $500,000 or $600,000. Yeah. And then they see the HOA fees of $500 or $600. So it's a very unique type of homeowner that lives in the Old Town area. There are some smaller bungalow type homes that were built in the 50s and 60s. These are going to be in the zip code 85251. And these homes were built in the 50s and 60s, originally probably only 2 or 3 bedrooms with 1 bathroom, perhaps not even a garage. And these homes in just south of Old Town are currently running about $600,000 or $700,000 with no improvements. And those that have been over the top, adorably remodeled, maybe an enclosed garage, added on a bathroom. Most of them haven't gone vertical. They're still single level because they're nice size lots, but we're still looking over 800, maybe even 900 for these older, smaller type homes. This is, in my opinion, this is the funnest part to own a home in Scottsdale. And when I say fun, the reason I'm talking is its close proximity to everything. It's still kind of the center of town. It has freeway access, a ton of the high-end shopping, but also nominal shopping. I can get to Tempe. There's tons of parks. There's golf courses. There's trails. There's bicycle trails. There's so much to do in the 85251 zip code area. But for people that are shopping in this area and they look at how small these homes are, or maybe how old, it's a little bit of a sticker shock. So let's go a little bit further north in Scottsdale, and let's now look at more of what people find as a family community. And this is going to be McDowell Mountain Range. This is going to be McCormick Ranch. This might even be all the way up on Shea Boulevard. This is going to be more of a neighborhood community. We still do see a ton of tourism in this area. And I have to tell you, if you're just a little worried about living by an Airbnb, you're going to see a heavy concentration of Airbnb, VRBO, whatever it is, short-term rentals throughout Scottsdale. Let me tell you, people that want to invest in these properties, they are looking for the communities that don't have any rules against them. So there is still a very high demand for that. If you live in the community, know that this might be something in your area. They're more prominent in the single family homes areas without HOAs. These at the state level with Arizona, there is no restrictions. In fact, our governor will not allow the cities to even impose any restrictions on Airbnb. So the cities are doing what they can to try and control some of these large parties and problems that we have in our communities. And again, it's more abundant in the city of Scottsdale than anywhere else in the greater Phoenix area. So I'm just bringing this up because you'd think if you go into the more luxury communities without an HOA, there would be fewer. That's not the case. That's probably where the majority of them are. And that's where there have been problems with the large parties, because these are $1 million, $2 million homes, estates where people will come in and they will rent them through an Airbnb. They'll throw whatever, bridal showers, bachelorette parties. There's some amazing Airbnbs. But if you are looking for maybe a little bit slower pace of life and not like all the clubs, boom, boom, but you're still within driving distance to fantastic shopping and restaurants and events and activities, then the central part of Scottsdale is going to be your probably preferred area. This is also, not surprising, the most expensive part of the Scottsdale area. We'll cover the north part here next. The one thing I want to talk about as far as Scottsdale, the super coolest is there is a freeway that runs through most of Scottsdale. So by Old Town and also Central Scottsdale. You are going to find the most amazing properties right here at this curb. My absolute favorite, not kidding, is DC Ranch. This community is I just absolutely love it. It is also not only close to every type of shopping and entertainment and freeways and employment. My favorite is the trails. Like, there are mountains in everyone's backyard. Well, I wouldn't say in the backyard, but everyone has mountain views in this part of Scottsdale, either in their front yard or their backyard. And I'm not saying right outside there, but everywhere you look, there are stunning views. And then of course, depending on which side you're facing, you're going to see an amazing sunrise or an amazing sunset. This part of Scottsdale, Grayhawk, all the way up to about Troon. This is how we here in the greater Phoenix area kind of talk about Scottsdale. You can't just say Scottsdale, and we don't want to pick exact neighborhoods because there's so much more in between these specific neighborhoods. And the neighborhoods that are called out, like I just said, DC Ranch, also Greyhawk, Troon, McDowell, McCormick. I haven't even talked about Carolyn. Like all these areas, because they have such a name, are going to be on the pricier point. So you want to go out, maybe if you want to save a little bit of money, go out a tad bit of that neighborhood. But in the general area, you still have access to all the amenities and all the wonderful things that people do gravitate towards those areas. Now, if we go to the furthest North Scottsdale, it's a different area. There's no freeway access up here up north. There's very little amenities. There's occasionally there's a little like store, a little corner where you might be able to pop in and get stuff. But let me tell you, the people that move out here in the North Scottsdale area are one of two type of buyers, either uber luxury. We're talking estates. We're talking 2.5 to 5 to even 10 acres, maybe private gates. Some of them even have private security. This is where you're going to find those homes. And then we also are going to find where Scottsdale abuts right to Rio Verde. Now, if you haven't heard, there's a big water thing going on between Rio Verde and Scottsdale. It's not as negative as the news or the media brings it up. And let me tell you really quickly what it is, because parts of Rio Verde have a Scottsdale address. So you want to make sure you work with a realtor that knows exactly what's going on, especially with the water. And we have actually, me and my team have shown up and participated in many of these community get-togethers where they talk about the water situation. And here's what it is. So if you go out to any part of the country, the United States, you have these little tiny countries that are self-sustained, right? So maybe they have their own well and they have their own septic. And at some point, it goes beyond maybe 10 or 20 people that live in that area. And so they're looking for a municipality that will help with their growth, but they're not large enough to have their own districts. So in this particular case, and it's happened in a couple of other areas, for instance, New River, when it was starting to grow and the city of Phoenix helped New River. Well, that's what's been happening in Rio Verde and Scottsdale. Rio Verde was literally a town outside of Scottsdale many, many years ago, like 20 plus years ago. And then people were starting to buy out in Rio Verde. Well, the way our state law is with water, and I'm going to try and get this correct. If it is a large development, the developer has to provide proof of 100-year water supply. If they cannot give 100-year, so therefore it's 99 or less, then developers can only develop 5 or less homes. That's the loophole that they have found in the state laws. And Arizona is a very pro real estate owned state. And they believe in, if you own your land, you get to kind of do what you want. And so there was that loophole, is that loophole. So Rio Verde, we've seen a lot, especially as the greater Phoenix has grown. Developers have gone out there and picked up 5 to 10 acre parcels. They subdivide them and then they develop how many homes? 5 or less. So these homes continue to be growing. Well, meanwhile, the population continues to be growing and we see more and more homes out there. Well, now that we have a sufficient amount of people that live out there, it is first of all drawing, and this is the way they explain it, there's a bucket of water that the city of Scottsdale is providing to the Rio Verde homeowners. And the Rio Verde homeowners kind of just have that straw in their bucket and they're just sucking it out. And more people are moving to Rio Verde. Well, obviously that means more and more water is being used. And so Scottsdale many years ago, not just recently, many years ago said, all right, you guys, we need to start to formulate a plan where you guys are going to branch off and you're going to build your own water district and you are going to provide water for your own city. You're no longer going to provide rely, or you're no longer going to rely on Scottsdale. So they've been working on this since 2018, but this is the defining year as to what happens. And that's why it's kind of coming out in the media. So my recommendation, if you are looking for the North Scottsdale area, which tends to be the least expensive, and this is the second type of buyer that goes up there. When I have buyers that are coming in from out of state and they say they want to live in the Scottsdale area, but they don't want to pay Scottsdale prices, and they love that, again, the property rights that we have here in Arizona, they want to be able to go out and, run their quads or their rails or their banshees, or they want to shoot their guns, or they want to go fishing not too far, or they want to go hiking, or how about the wild horses that are up here right along the Rio Verde? I'm telling you, it is gorgeous land up here. But if you're interested in purchasing it, you better make sure you are working with a realtor that knows exactly what's going on with the water, the water district formation that they're trying to create, what's going on with the wells, some of which have dried up. I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff going on as it relates to water, and me and my team are up to date and we know exactly what's going on. So again, in the North Scottsdale, we're talking uber luxury and we're talking uber freedom. If you would, just be really careful about the water situation as you get close to that Rio Verde area, even if it has a Scottsdale address. So there's the little tips and tricks. All right. Now we've kind of broken it apart, as far as like what Scottsdale is consist of. Let's now take a look at Chandler. All right, let's take a look at Chandler. Chandler is located directly south of 101. 101 is literally the bloodline between Scottsdale and Chandler. So you are going to be able to go back and forth if you work in Chandler but want to live in Scottsdale. If you work in Scottsdale but you want to live in Chandler, super easy. Now, I have to be honest with you, 101 is busy during commute, but if you have the flexibility not to go if you're going north on 101 at 8 o'clock in the morning, give yourself some extra time. If you're heading south on 101 at 3 to 4:30, give yourself some extra time. If you can travel the opposite direction or at different times, you're going to love it. And to be honest with you, I originally come from the San Francisco Bay Area, and even the worst day on 101 is nothing compared to any of the freeways in the San Jose, San Francisco area. So I have no problem sitting 15 minutes on a freeway. Yeah, I really said 15 minutes. Okay, so Chandler, first of all, they have the most amazing downtown district. It's kind of, I would say, a mini Scottsdale, if you would. Downtown Chandler is kind of a hidden secret, and I'm letting you know now exactly what's going on in downtown. Downtown was originally founded in the early 1900s when Frank Lloyd Wright actually opened up this hotel. It was the very first luxury hotel in the Phoenix area, and it also was the very first grass golf course in the entire state. Now, of course, it has had a little bit of remodeling since then, but it still has that downtown charm. And having that history in the Chandler area, it's amazing. You can still feel it in the historic district, which has expanded into even a new area called New Square. So downtown Chandler has more nightlife on, I would say, non-20, 30-year-old level. Like what exactly do I mean by that? All right, you want club, you want the champagne bottles, you want the fireworks, you want, all that craziness with the girls dancing on the bar. That's Scottsdale. Downtown Chandler has over 40 bars and restaurants that do not have anyone dancing on the bars. They have more live music. It's not the DJ club, sparklers, confetti flying everywhere. It is kind of just chill. How's that? It's a chill downtown area, and you can just feel the vibe. Again, in the historic district, you're going to find everything from breweries to Irish pubs to steakhouses to one of my favorites. You guys got to check it out. It's called Chiba Hut. It is so fun. There's locations all over the greater Phoenix area. You're only going to find them in Phoenix. It's kind of funny when you go in there, and when you go in there and you look at the sandwich menu board, and you're going to go, none of these look even remotely good. I'm telling you, just go out on a limb, get something crazy. I don't recommend their salads. I love their sandwiches. They are the craziest concoction. And there's one in downtown Chandler. There is so much in downtown Chandler. There's a place called the Hidden House. And if you want to know where it is, you got to follow this girl. You can find me, by the way, on all our social medias at Go Arizona Real Estate, Instagram, Facebook. Check out my website. And of course, we're here on YouTube. But there's another one, a speakeasy. I'm telling you, you got to know where to go. But downtown Chandler is amazing. And here's the best part. And Scottsdale can't compete to this. There's no charge for parking. Did I really just say that? Daytime or nighttime, you will never run out of parking and you will never pay for parking in downtown Chandler. There are more garages than you can even imagine. It's amazing. The rest of the city should adopt this. City of Chandler has guaranteed that this has always been a primary focus for them. In fact, the last garage that they built was almost 1,000 parking places, and they own it. The city owns it, not a valet company. There's never going to be any charge. It's kind of a nice thing. And here, this is going to tell you exactly how innovative, and this is the difference between Chandler and Scottsdale as far as like city feel. City of Scottsdale has always been a tourist attraction. City of Chandler has always been innovative. It's been very technology focused, very education, very academia. We have more technology companies. We have the world Intel, the world infamous Intel, that is, by the way, they already have 3 fabs in Chandler, and they're building 2 more at the tune of $20 billion. We have 3,000 people that will be moving into probably the Chandler and surrounding areas. That's happening in the next year. They'll be finishing that up later this year, 2022, and the beginning of 2023. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So the garage that they built, you're going to notice when you drive in how the bottom level has a very high ceiling. You know why? Because we are becoming an autonomous society. We are driving vehicles less and less. And more so here in Arizona. If you didn't know, not only do we have all the Uber, the Lyft, and the ride sharing and all that stuff, but we have Waymo. I don't even remember all the names of them. We have self-driving vehicles all over the greater Phoenix area. And guess where they are all based? I wouldn't say all, most are based in Chandler. Chandler has been the forward thinking, they're a huge VC, like tech start company, like it is a massive think tank in Chandler. So you are going to find amazing, innovative things that not only the city, but employers and opportunities in the Chandler area. So let me go back to the garage. When there are fewer vehicles that are parking downtown Chandler, and we're talking like 20, 25 years, we're not talking anything in the near future, they will be able to convert that first level of the beautiful parking garage that they built into retail. It's already been plumbed with plumbing, power, and such, so that they can easily convert it. And it's not just this gigantic, concrete, ugly giant when it's not needed. I think that story alone tells you how innovative the city of Chandler is. Now, the city of Chandler is, like I said, it has at this point more employment than Scottsdale, but that's not to say Scottsdale is not going to be growing, because Scottsdale is a main hub for a lot of new technology companies. They are choosing up in the Scottsdale area. Not quite sure why. Oh, yes, actually I do. Because Chandler is already 98% spoken for. So if you see a dirt lot while you're driving around Chandler, it's because somebody already bought it. There is something already planned and approved there. It's just a matter of time when it will be built. There is less than 2% of our land in the city of Chandler that is still available and open for building a new building, etc. We have Scottsdale has an air park. Chandler has a Chandler Regional Air Park. Chandler also has Stellar Air Park, which is a super cool community. This is where you can have a private plane and you can fly up into your own personal hangar attached to your home. Not many of these throughout the entire world. So Chandler is known for that as well. Chandler also has a lot more green. So if you are looking for more green in Arizona, you're going to find an abundance of that in the Chandler area. Now, a lot of people think that Chandler was desert and then the property owners and builders have converted it to green. That's not the case. See, Arizona has a lot more than just desert, and a lot of people don't realize this. The southeast part of the valley, if you go back 100 years ago, it was all farmland. It was cotton. There was ostrich farms. In fact, don't forget, Chandler even hosts the amazing annual ostrich festival. If you ever get a chance, you should come on out. In fact, this year they're going to do it for 2 weekends in a row because they're trying to play catch up from COVID. Everybody misses this. We have so many festivals and outdoor concerts. And of course, don't forget, we have spring training. We have so much going on, farmers markets, car shows. I am telling you, if you are looking for a community that gets together for just about anything, how about celebrating pizza? How about celebrating macaroni and cheese? You're going to find that more so in the Chandler area than in Scottsdale, because again, Scottsdale is kind of more of that quiet luxury. I'm not saying downtown, like again, on downtown, Old Town, but it's all concrete. So there is an amazing rodeo in February. And the only reason I always remember that is because of my birthday. And I love that about Old Town. And I realize I'm flipping back to Scottsdale, but Old Town for Parada del Sol for a week, they'll actually close down Mill Avenue. I'm sorry, that's Tempe. They'll close down Old Town, Scottsdale Road, and you can walk around with your cocktail while they have the parade and everything going on. That is something Scottsdale has that Chandler does not. But Chandler does have festivals like you can't believe. You want to talk about festivals? We're talking Taco Festival, Pizza Festival. I have to go through it. We have a Mardi Gras, Cajun. We have Great American Barbecue. What are all the other ones? I can't even remember. There's a chili cook-off. There's a jazz festival. There is, I already mentioned the ostrich festival. We even have a tumbleweed Christmas tree. And the lighting is amazing. It is, it's probably 100 feet tall, at least. And it's these ginormous tumbleweeds that they do the fire retardant on it, and then they paint them white, and then they decorate it with all these lights, and literally thousands of people come to see like the Christmas tree lighting. It is so fun. It's the biggest small town you ever did see. Literally, the mayor walks around shaking hands, wearing a baseball cap, going, "Hey, Sheryl." I'm not kidding you. That is Chandler. It is amazing. And it's nice to see the mayor really does walk around the downtown. He knows all the business owners. He gets very involved in the community. And let me tell you, when the world shut down during COVID, and it was because Chandler, I don't want to say just Chandler, Greater Phoenix area is the land of opportunity. There are so many mom and pop restaurants like you cannot believe. And it is such an entrepreneurial environment and lifestyle. We're talking everything from, construction to beauty to restaurants to, there's a bling store. I'm telling you, I don't want to say everybody is self-employed because we have a ginormous technology income. In fact, the city of Scottsdale and the city of Chandler have almost the exact same median income. Now, you're probably going, what? How can that be possible? And here's why. Because probably more than half the people that live in Scottsdale don't really live in Scottsdale as their primary residence. It's a second home. We have so many people from literally all over the world that this is maybe their second or fourth home. That's a $4 million home in Scottsdale, and they don't call it a primary residence. So that doesn't count as income. Most people in Chandler work and live and this is their primary residence in Chandler. So that's why the numbers are weird, because there is a lot of higher income to have the higher cost of living and housing supported up in the Scottsdale area. But when you have, I'm going to say a good third, maybe even almost a half of the people don't call Scottsdale their primary residence. And don't forget about all the Airbnbs. So that's why it brings the income down. But it's still educated, quality, good income, and overall, I think better quality of life. The thing about Chandler, I could go to the grocery store either like all done up, or I could just throw on my baseball cap, sweatshirt, and I got my Chucks on, and it's totally fine. In Scottsdale, it is all about the Joneses. You got to have a nice car. You got to have a very nice home. My girlfriend even bought a $1,200 stroller because that's what everybody else had. And you know what? The schools, the public schools, are equally impeccable in both communities. If you want to look at even Basis has several locations throughout the valley, and guess which two are the most difficult to get into? Scottsdale and Chandler. It's actually down in Ocotillo. Ocotillo is a part of Chandler that a lot of people really gravitate to. Ocotillo is kind of the luxury end of Chandler. You're going to find more water lake communities in the city of Chandler than any other part of the greater Phoenix area. Now, again, you guys are thinking, oh, all that wasted water. No, it's all reclaimed water. The city of Chandler is so creative and so innovative. And again, when we talked about how green, Chandler's green, it's because the farming that has been here for over 100 years, the soil is very rich in its nutrients. So even just natural rain, when we do get it, because we all are kind of going through a drought right now, it keeps the plants plentiful. Now, does it mean that we all have green grasses? No, we obviously have to feed it with fertilizer and we have to put more water. But what a lot of people do is a couple of things. Our grass is seasonal. So we have, I don't even know what the name of it. We have our permanent grass. Let's just put it that way, right? We have our permanent grass that is laid in the, your yards. And if you want grass through the winter, this is what you do every September. You turn off your water. So you don't water your lawn at all in September. You start to see it die. You're going, oh, and then your landscaper comes in and it mows it on down to where it's like this tall. And then they throw in rye seed. And this is going to be done usually in the first or second week of October. I'm not kidding. It's literally down to this time frame. First or second week of October, they throw down a ton of rye seed. Then they throw some manure on top. It smells great. The birds love you. Anyways, and then you're going to water what will be your winter grass 2 to 3 times a day. You don't want to water it a long time because guess what happens? If you water it, like let's say even 5 or 7 minutes, then the water doesn't have time to sink in and it just takes those seeds and it carries it right on off your property. So you want to just do it maybe like 2 to 3 minutes, like 2 to 3 times a day. And it just gets it wet and it keeps growing. And then you have this beautiful green grass in the winter. Well, what a lot of people have done over the last couple of years, including myself, is that I let my winter grass go dormant. I just stop watering it and it just goes brown. And it's just kind of a thing everybody does here in the wintertime. Now, wherever you might be coming from, you might have snow. So, it's kind of, you just kind of that's the winter look. It's not as green. Now, some people still want that green. Now, although people have been doing the rye grass, and they still do, the big thing now is turf lawn. So I'm getting my turf in this year. So I'm really excited. So I'm going to be kind of turning to what they call a xeriscape landscaping. So although you see a lot of green and you see a lot of water in the city of Chandler, it's not as it is environmentally friendlier than you think it is. So if this is something that you really resonate with green and water, then you're going to want to choose Chandler. Now, we've talked about Chandler. Chandler also has several different areas. And it's kind of cool because the city of Chandler has put signs up to kind of identify these areas. I myself live in the West Chandler area. Now, West Chandler area is going to be part of the Kyrene School District. This also has kind of a mixed use between industrial space as well as residential. Industrial, this is where Waymo is headquartered. Not to mention there's massive distribution centers because this is right at the 202 and Interstate 10 interchange. So you're going to find most of the homes in this area. Oh, and by the way, Intel. This is where Intel called home when they first moved here in the late 80s. So obviously what happened is the homes that were built around the Intel plant, it's ginormous, it's like 1 million square feet. They have their own security. It's like amazing. It's what you see in the Bay Area as far as the technology companies, right? You're going to see homes that were built in the 80s and the 90s. And so this particular area has a lower cost per square foot when compared to obviously the newer part of Chandler, which we'll talk about here in just a few minutes. So I love this area. First of all, for me, it is very central for literally the entire greater Phoenix area. Think about it from a real estate perspective. I potentially need to get to any city at potentially a drop of a hat, a phone call. Somebody needs me in Peoria, or somebody needs me in Goodyear. I have to pop on down maybe to Maricopa, or I have to go to downtown Phoenix, or I have to go to North Scottsdale. I do spend a lot of time in Kierland and Desert Ridge. So I need to have that flexibility. West Chandler, I have not one, not two, not three, but 4 freeways within 3 miles. So this is a fantastic area if you are looking for, again, that flexibility, if you're working in sales, if you need to get in and around the greater Phoenix area, or you need to travel a lot. So I'm only about 15-20 minutes from the Phoenix airport, but I also can get to Mesa Gateway, which is my new favorite airport, because it is literally like going back in time. I swear to God, it is like walking in an airport from 1970, 1980 when I was a kid. There's minimal security. It's still the same security, but it's not massive. Thousands of parking. There's only a couple of airlines that cater out of there. You just get in and out so much quicker. I just want to let you know again, West Chandler, the people that shop in the Chandler area, they say they don't like this area until they find an amazing home that's been have completely renovated and remodeled. That's what the biggest, I'd say, downfall is. If you are buying in this area, the homes were built in the 80s or the 90s. Chances are you're going to either need to remodel, or a home has been remodeled, but maybe some of the maintenance hasn't been done. And what I mean by that is the homes that were built in the 80s are not going to have the tile roofs. So those are not as expensive to replace. But if the homes were built in the 90s and they have tile roofs, I hate to say this, but people that live here tend to wait until they need something as opposed to being proactive. Never a good plan when a big monsoon comes in, and not that it really takes off your roof because we don't have tornadoes. Although I think we had one that almost kind of touched the ground one time. That's another thing too, by the way. I don't know where you're coming from, but I promise wherever you're coming from, you have natural disasters. We don't have any natural disasters. We have nothing. Our monsoons are amazing. I love sitting outside and watching the light storms. No natural disasters. Talk about big plus, and also lower homeowners insurance. So anyways, so what happens when you buy these homes that were built in the 90s, the flooring might, be amazing, and maybe new cabinets and new paint, and maybe they've moved some walls or lifted the ceilings. But the question is these two things. Is there a new or newer roof, or is there a new or newer AC? Those are important things. So again, working with the right realtors, we know exactly what to look for. So usually when people are coming in, you're always shopping online first. And so you're gravitating toward homes that were built in the 2015 or newer, right? It is kind of a different, if you think about it, the architecture and the design of the newer homes are completely different. And I'm not going to lie, they are definitely more energy efficient. But let me tell you, you can take an older home, lower cost per square foot. You can make that investment in a new roof, which I did just a few years ago. Got 2 new, brand new Train AC units. Holy moly, my AC was cut down in half. It makes a difference. So the point is there's great opportunity in West Chandler, but something has to give. So if you want a newer home, you're not going to find it in West Chandler. Now, if we go into and around that downtown Chandler area, just north of downtown Chandler, there's an area called Uptown Chandler. Now, again, I kind of like the fact that Chandler has named these neighborhoods, but I wouldn't really call them neighborhoods because within this part of town, there's probably no less than 100 neighborhoods. But here is where Uptown Chandler was the original founding part of Chandler. So what does that mean? We're talking much older homes. We're talking much older retail, like buildings built in like the 60s and the 70s. And so it just doesn't feel, it is charming, and there is a lot of newness going on. The city of Chandler actually has a lot of grant programs for the industrial and retail commercial property owners to try and kind of gentrify that area. We are fine. Those are that part of Chandler is also where there is no HOA. So people love that. The positive of no HOA is you can do whatever you want. The negative of no HOA is everyone else can do whatever they want. So you got to pick your battles. So again, if you're looking for a lower housing price, this is going to be the area that you're looking for in Chandler. Now, this area, I have to be perfectly honest with you, has the highest crime rate in the city of Chandler. Again, because this is where way back, we're talking like the 50s and the 60s, when this was still predominantly a farming community. There was still tons of fields. There was a lot of not only agriculture, but there was the livestock that were still here. You still find some properties, not properties, but large areas where there's still farms in Chandler. But this is where the families that work these farms for generations still live, work, and play. And so unfortunately, there is a higher crime rate in this particular area. It's the zip code 85225. But you know what? That's also where the police headquarters is. So it's constantly patrolled. They keep a really good control over things, quick, responsive, I have to tell you, and they're very involved in the community. I really, really have gotten to know the fire chief and also the police chief over the years. And you can tell they really care about our community, and they do everything that they possibly can to keep our community safe. It is a #1 priority for the mayor and city council, and they really focus on this area. So, but you know, you got to work with what you got. Now, here's the part of Chandler that everyone loves. This is Ocotillo. Now, Ocotillo is going to be south of 202. South of Ocotillo is probably the highest demand part of Chandler. Why? Because it has massive employment. Intel has extended very far south into the Ocotillo area, and this is where the 2 new fabs are. So we have a very high income. We also have higher education levels out here. We also have higher housing prices and newer homes. So this is going to be where you find the lake communities. This is where you're going to be finding the estates, and the most recent homes that have been built are going to be found in the South Chandler area. And so this is where typically, again, people that are really drawn to the aesthetics of a home, this is the area that they are really drawn to. And I have to tell you, the parks down here are incredible. The community centers are incredible. The libraries, the newness of it all, like the freeways, there is only 2 freeways that go to this area, but again, when I talked about North Scottsdale having 0 freeways, so saying there's only 2 freeways, you can live with that, right? Anyways, so South Chandler has absolutely everything. It has the fantastic high schools, like, whoa, blow away. I'm talking both in academics and also athletics. We have people moving here from all over the country to go specifically to Chandler High, Perry High, Basha High, and Hamilton High, all because of their athletic programs. I'm telling you, it's insane. And the basis school down in Ocotillo, if you are interested in getting in either this one or the Scottsdale, you're going to plan at least 2 years in advance, because it is that hard to get into the school. And of course, the kids have to test. All right. So I think we've covered, like, overall what Scottsdale's like and what's Chandler like. Now, let's talk what the comparison is. Okay, first of all, population, it's about the same. So we don't even have to go there. Income, like we said early, it's about the same. Here's what the big difference is. The city of Scottsdale, the average age of a resident is 46 years old. The average age in the city of Chandler is 35 years old. So as you can see, Chandler is a lot younger, a lot more vibrant, and, again, more family focused, whereas Scottsdale is definitely more tourist and more retirement. What about the cost to actually live there? Well, let's look at groceries. Again, being in a luxury environment in Scottsdale, the same exact grocery store. Let's just pick a Safeway. We all know Safeways, right? If the norm was 100 on a scale of, if the average is 100, the groceries in Chandler at the same store are 99, meaning a little lower than average nationally, and Scottsdale's 103. The same town, if you would, literally just a few miles down the road. So Scottsdale it's a little bit more expensive on groceries. It's also a little bit more expensive on sales tax. If you buy a car from a Scottsdale dealer, same exact car in Chandler, it's going to cost you a big time difference when you start talking thousands of dollars on a purchase, right? Sales tax in Chandler is 7.8%. The same product in Scottsdale is 8.1%. So things are going to cost a little bit less. In fact, if you live in Scottsdale, I shouldn't say it that way. I live in Chandler. My friend lives in Scottsdale and was super impressed with their landscaper. I called the landscaper and I said, can you come down and do my backyard? And he said, I'm sorry, we don't service Chandler. I was like, why? And he goes, because homeowners spend a lot less in Chandler versus Scottsdale. So if you are prepared to always pay more for everything, that's going to be Scottsdale. You're going to pay more for services. You're going to pay more in tax. You're going to pay more for groceries. How about a cocktail? You're going to laugh at this. Okay. So yes, I went out last night. I rarely go out, but I went out last night. And normally I hit a Chandler restaurant and I might get a nice little sangria, maybe a Tito's press, something super simple. And I'll pay $8 to, depending on the cocktail. Let's just pick one so it's equally the same, right? Let's just take, how about a Guinness 16-ounce pint? Okay. In Chandler, it's going to cost you $5.50 to $6. The same pint in Old Town, it's going to cost you $11. It's the same beer, right? Well, obviously higher cost per square foot, whether you're leasing as a business or owning as a property owner. If you have more overhead, you're going to charge more overhead, right? So restaurants are more expensive. The same exact, I get it. Like if you want like Mastro's, there is not a Mastro's in Chandler. Mastro's people, will you please listen, like come open up a place down here. So if you want to have that elegant, that city hall, that, that high-end luxury restaurant, I'm not saying there aren't any in Chandler, it's just different ones. And you're going to pay a lot more in Scottsdale. In fact, if you want a nice steakhouse, let me highly recommend DC Steakhouse in downtown Chandler, one of my personal favorites. And you know what? It's not a big corporation. It's literally owned by mom and pop. Not kidding. They're amazing. You'll see them in the dining room quite often. Tell Lori I said hello. She'll make sure you get a good table. All right, you guys. So if you are just living day-to-day life, gasoline's just a little bit more expensive. Your homeowner's insurance is going to be a little bit more expensive. Everything is just a little bit more expensive in Scottsdale than Chandler. How about this? Political views. Now, here's my favorite part. My most favorite part about Arizona is that during all this craziness and chaos in the entire United States, it's been relatively quiet here in the Arizona front. We have a Republican governor who is very focused on how individuals are treated, property rights state, but also wants to give back the decision to people. We get to make our own decision. And it's really nice. I was starting to talk about the mayor and being so focused on the restaurants in the downtown area. Well, I shouldn't say downtown, everywhere in the city of Chandler. Our mayor was one of the first mayor in the entire greater Phoenix area that said, we need to do something to help these small businesses survive this COVID situation. So he was instrumental in, number one, allowing to-go alcohol, so it could help, again, sustain these restaurants where the ones that did more alcohol than food. Many restaurants don't have very good food menus for to-go. So he was also instrumental in making sure that they had the opportunity to build patios outside so they could do the outdoor dining. They expedited all the permits, and there was even some grant money to help pay for that. He was forefront in making sure these small business owners had whatever tools they could possibly have under the circumstances. He even made the park in downtown Chandler where you could take your sippy cups and be in the park and drink alcohol. Very forward thinking. Like I said, love the city of Chandler. So back to what I was saying though about the even keel. While everybody else is very one-sided or the other, here is literally both the city of Scottsdale and the city of Chandler, and you can check it out for yourself on bestplaces.net, where you can compare Scottsdale to Chandler, and you pull up the politics and it will tell you exactly this. It's 45% Democrat, 48% Republican. It's just a little bit. The rest are independent. And here, that is how our whole state is. Everyone just gets along. Wow, what a concept, right? We love that. So if you want to wear a mask, you can wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, you don't have to wear a mask. You can choose to eat at home. We have every single kind of delivery. And that's another thing. If you live way up in North Scottsdale, you're not going to be getting any of the late night. I forget what all those DoorDash. DoorDash isn't going to go up to your house. Chandler, everywhere. You can get everything delivered to everywhere in the city of Chandler. All right, guys. I think that depending on what your lifestyle is, that's what's going to make up the biggest decision between Chandler and Scottsdale. All right, it's going to come down to, what do you want to spend? Which community do you resonate most with, and what are you willing to spend? All right, $500,000 will get you this beautiful home in Chandler, whereas $500,000 will get you this, let's call it a charmer, in the city of Scottsdale. Better be ready to bring your contractor and great design ideas, because I'm sure with a little elbow grease, you'll be able to get this home up to par. Okay, for $750,000 in the city of Chandler, you can actually get yourself a beautiful lakefront home. If you're looking for a middle range, like 2,200 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, you are going to get a beautiful lakefront home. In the city of Scottsdale at $750,000, you'll find this beautiful kind of mid-century, smaller, maybe swimming pool, might need a little bit more maintenance, but you do have a Scottsdale zip code and you have landed a single family home in the highly desired Scottsdale area. Now let's take a look at what $1 million will get you in the city of Chandler. Look at all these beauties. $1 million price tag, whether it's older and been renovated or newer, this $1 million is going to stretch you far. In the city of Scottsdale, $1 million will get you a very nice planned community home built probably around the 90s or the early 2000s. We talked a little bit about the definitely checking on the maintenance of the roof, AC, and you might want to do some updating. Tuscan, as you can see, built in the 90s, is still kind of a very heavy concentration. Some people like that. They love coming to Arizona and getting in with our browns and that Tuscan style, the Sonoran, color scheme. Some of them want the newer white, industrial, black trim kind of homes. Let's see what that costs in each of the cities. So if you're looking for that brand new home within a year or two, you're looking for over 3,000 square feet. This is a beautiful home that you're going to find in the Chandler area with all your amenities within just a few years old, driving, great schools, easy access, and very little maintenance because of how new it is, you're going to still find under 1.5 million. Let's show you what $2 million will get you in the city of Scottsdale. And we're still not looking at a new construction. Now, this is an older home. It has a lot of land. It has beautiful views, and it has been nicely renovated, but it still has a lot of the things that you probably don't like the lower ceilings, the kind of maybe an unplanned neighborhood. Maybe you like this. I particularly do like it because, again, if you're looking for privacy, this is an ideal type of home in Scottsdale with the $2 million price point. So now you can see if you are looking for a brand new home in the Scottsdale area, you're going to be spending in upwards of about $3 million. If that's something you're looking for, we can get you set up, that's for sure. If you are looking at under 3 million, maybe more closer to 2 million, you can go out to that Rio Verde area that we were talking about, but we want to make sure that you understand the water situation. But if the home is what's important to you, the newer home, we can get you into a home closer to the 2 million with nice land. You're not going to have the amenities as far as local grocery store, gas station, freeway. But again, there's different things for different buyers, different homeowners. Everybody has a different need or want. And that's why we are here for you, because we want to listen to what is important to you. We're going to guide you as to what areas will resonate with what you are wanting. And we'll make sure that we get you into the right area. So if you guys are thinking about moving to the greater Phoenix area, and now you have some idea, like maybe that area might work, maybe I should explore this area, pick up the phone, give us a call. We'll make sure that we set you up for a Zoom call. We'll introduce you to the team. We'll make sure that we extract all your needs, wants, everything that you're looking for in a home. We're going to make that transition super easy for you. You just got to pick up that phone, give us a call, shoot us a text, send me an email, days, nights, weekends. We got your back when moving to the greater Phoenix area. And until next time, be safe, be kind, and we'll see y'all soon.